You wanna know what I hate? You wanna know what I hate? A little while ago, I was watching a trailer for a movie, and this was a while ago, called The Final Destination. And I thought, man, they must be really poor on ideas if they're remaking that movie. No, it's a sequel to the sequel of Final Destination. How am I supposed to tell which movie is which? My God, people are stupid these days. How am I supposed to tell, huh? Guys, tell me that. Tell me, how am I supposed to tell which one in the future, if I didn't know that the Final Destination and Final Destination were the same, where one was number 1, one was number 4. If I was in the future, I'm probably going to meet a lot of people who watched the 4th one first, or thought that it was a remake. But yes, this isn't on the Final Destination. This rant is on a little something called stupid people that name movie sequels wrong and video game sequels wrong and bring out sequel, prequel, different dimension at the same time. Sequel, prequel, sequel to the prequel. My God. Legend of Zelda. One of the greatest Nintendo achievements ever. The Legend of Zelda. Started out with the original. And then they came out with a second. And then they started screwing people over. They made the Ocarina of Time, which was, in my mind, one of the greatest Legend of Zelda games ever. In which was apparently a prequel, and then they made A Link to the Past, which was a prequel to the prequel, and then they made a sequel to the prequel, and a sequel to the prequel of the sequel, and just after that I lost track. The newest Legend of Zelda game that came out on, I'm not talking DS, I'm talking Wii, three-dimensional systems here, original stuff. Not like Wii or NES, like NES to the GameCube to the Game Boy, and then after the Game Boy, no more of that handheld system. The newest one that just came out, well, not just, but a couple years ago, Twilight Princess, is apparently just, a new way of looking, just gives a new way of looking at the Legend of Zelda series, because I guess they just thought, what, screw it, they don't need any prequels, any more sequels, we're just gonna make a whole different series. So you know what, it's like, all those different sequels and prequels are at war here, and then here's Twilight Princess just saying, you know what, I'm not getting into this, I'm just gonna be, I'm just gonna be here, I'm gonna sit here, and, do my thing. But yeah, Twilight Princess, another one of the greatest Legend of Zelda games I've ever played. The puzzles aren't too hard, but, they're, normal. The monsters are fun to kill, and the bosses, man, the bosses are original. Like, Ocarina of Time. Games that resemble it, Master Quest, hello people. Master Quest is basically just a new difficulty level. Like, now we got the, the normal, the hard, the easy difficulty levels. Pretty much, Ocarina of Time was the normal, and then Master's Quest was the hard, insanely hard part. The insanely hard difficulty level, because it was basically the same gameplay. My friend and I both played through it. Well, we didn't play through it. I got to the first dungeon, and I was like, how do I do this puzzle? But yeah. Short rant this time, guys. Oh wait, I forgot I'm not talking about The Legend of Zelda. I'm talking about chronological order in general. Alright. Now, a movie that I saw earlier was, the new Rambo movie, which is called, I think it was just called Rambo. The first of the series was called First Blood, and then they named it First Blood, and then the second one in the series was Rambo First Blood Part 2. The third one was Rambo 3. And now we have Rambo. So, of course, if I'm gonna, buy the whole series, but I don't know which one goes where, I'm gonna buy Rambo first. Then I'm gonna buy First Blood Part 2, and then I'm gonna get confused, because I'm probably gonna see characters that don't even exist yet in First Blood Part 2, and yet it's a sequel to... Oh my god, guys. My god, my god, my god, my god. People are stupid lately. I mean, come on. The Rocky movies. It was announced in, I think, '06 that a new Rocky movie was coming out called Rocky Balboa. This made people jump for joy, but it also made people scream out in pain. The first one was called Rocky, then Rocky 2, Rocky 3. I think it went up to Rocky 4. Luckily, the new one is in chronological order. It's not called Rocky Balboa. It's called Rocky 6 or whatever Rocky it was. So yeah. Resident Evil, my favorite. The best franchise in my mind is the Resident Evil franchise. They're screwing people over. Resident Evil 1, Resident Evil 2, Resident Evil 3, or Resident Evil Extinction. It does have the 3 in there, guys. It's on the front of the box. Resident Evil 3. Now we have Resident Evil Degeneration. Is it? Yeah, it's Degeneration, which is an animated one. And Resident Evil, a new one coming out. Resident Evil, I'm trying to think. What's it called? Resident Evil, I can't remember what the new one coming out soon is called, but it's basically Resident Evil 5 live action. The first 3 are okay. I think that the last 2 don't really matter. I would say that, except Resident Evil, the new one coming out, is going to be basically Resident Evil 4. It's going to have the same character, the red-dressed person that they could have called Ada, like I said for my first rant. It's going to have her in it, and she's going to kill Wesker. I don't want to give too much away, but I probably just did. Again, Wesker gets screwed out of a really good death, because you know what? This should go in my Resident Evil rant, but it's already out there. I can't exactly, fix it. Resident Evil 5 had one of the worst endings ever in my mind, because, and only this, it should have been Jill and Chris that killed Wesker, not Chris and Sheva. Chris and Jill. Sheva was a last-minute character they put in there so they wouldn't be racist. But yeah, I think we can do one more. What? Star Trek. I'm not a big Star Trek fan. Believe you me. I've been curious. I've watched 5 minutes, little bits. Apparently, the game is pretty good. Apparently, the new movie is pretty good. And it's supposed to be like a prequel to the original. It's supposed to be a prequel to the first Star Trek thing ever made. But they got Star Trek 1, Star Trek 2, Star Trek 3, Star Trek 4, Star Trek 5, Star Trek 6. Think they had 7. And then they went Star Trek The Next Generation, Star Trek this, Star Trek that. No more numbers. Now, I know the numbered ones have titles too, like The Search for Spock, but I don't know all of them off by heart, because I don't like Star Trek, So yeah, guys, we're nearing the end of my rant. I'm just going to say one more thing, that they should do another one of South Park movie! Yes, another South Park movie would be nice. Thank you, and good night.